Hello, welcome to today's episode of A Couple of Things, a podcast about things coming to you today from a very tired lady. Today, I'm going to be answering a listener question about maintaining friendships, keeping in touch with your friends around the world without it feeling like a daily stand up. Yeah, let's talk about that. So, today's question comes from Blinding Lights, and he or she asks, how can I keep in touch with my friends around the world without it feeling like daily stand up or the fear of getting no responses back? And the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this question is, you will be okay with daily stand up. Because I was, I feel like many of the people that I'm really in touch with is usually a game of cat and mouse, like trying to catch up with each other, because especially as we are growing older, becoming adults and doing adult things, like you have responsibilities, you are paying taxes, you're doing work, you have things that you need to do. Maybe you're involved in like some community thing, maybe church or whatever. There's just always something happening, and then for people that have kids is an additional level of work. So there's no way, or people who have moved abroad for school, or they're in school, there's many things happening, so there's actually no way that you will always respond to each other on time. That's the first thing. So it was so much easier to keep in touch with our friends and all of those things when we were still in uni, and we didn't have that many things we were doing. Even if you were doing other stuff, like I was working a lot when I was in uni, but I still had time, and all of us were pretty much in the same stage of life. Like we're all doing the same things, talking to the same people, going to the same places for the most part, right? So, and we were on the same in the same geographical location, so it was easy. It wasn't work or too much effort to like hang out with your friends, talk to them, text them, all these things, because you're going to classes, you're in the same environment, blah 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 blah. But now it's not the same. Before we go on, subscribe if you haven't. Okay, let's continue. And so I'm thinking of how, with my friends, the like that were still really good friends, even having moved abroad, which is I think everyone who I was like, we had built our relationships to a very strong point that even the long distance is no longer like killing us basically. um all the people that I don't really talk to anymore, people that we were just building our relationship, and the stress of moving abroad didn't really vibe well with that early stage of relationship building. um and people are everywhere in the world. There are people in different time zones. That's also another thing to consider. So yeah, you have to just get over the fear of not getting your response back. Like that's the first thing. You just have to get over it. One of my friends, I sent her an email a couple of months back because I was like, I don't know, we don't talk as much as we used to talk before. And I know that, like, in the back of my mind, I know that we're friends still, but there's just something that's making me feel somehow about the fact that we're not talking as much as we used to talk and spend time together when we're in Unilag, and we're like always in the same space, and we saw each other like almost every day and everything. And like this is stressing me out. So I sent her this really long winding email about my feelings about it. And I was like, hey, what if this babe gives me a lot? But it turned out to be fine, because yeah, she was also thinking the same thing, like, oh yeah, we don't really talk as much as before, but that doesn't mean that we're not friends. And we've decided that okay, we need to create a regular cadence of when we're going to talk. So that daily stand up feeling, I don't think that there's really much you can do about it. I have another set of my friends that we have a standing call every week, and it's a prayer call, but we know that even if you don't talk the rest of the week, that prayer call, 99% of the time we'll talk, we'll catch up, and then we'll pray, or we'll pray and catch up, or whatever. So that's the time where we're talking and catching up. It doesn't mean that we don't chat outside of the prayer call, but we just have that standing time that's like, oh, this is our time. So dear blinding light, you will like daily stand up, and you will still send your messages with that fear of getting the responses back, because yeah, sometimes we don't get a response. There's some people actually that we were really good, like good friends. I felt that we had built our friendship to a level that even long distance would not like kill it. But we're no longer friends because both of us just weren't putting in the effort to keep in touch, and that happens, and that's fine. And I think that that's something we also have to become more comfortable with as we grow, that there are relationships that will drift apart, and if we do not put in the work and the effort to make sure that they do not drift apart, then they will, and that's that. Maybe it can be repaired, maybe not, but that that vulnerability, because honestly there's always that element of vulnerability, like what if this person doesn't talk to me again, what if this happens, what if they just air me. But if you're feeling the vibe, if you're like, this is my friend, I want to talk to them, even if they don't respond to me immediately, just having that understanding that it's actually not about you. Like, especially with relocation, people are dealing with a lot, especially in the beginning stages of relocation. There's just so much to deal with. So it's not really like, oh, my friend is ignoring me, or she's not talking to me anymore, or he's not replying my messages. It's just that remove yourself from the equation first. I think just assume positive intent towards your friends, that these people are my friends. So if they're not replying me, it's not because they hate me now. It's because maybe something is happening, and I will give them grace, extend grace to them to say, maybe something is happening. When they're doing okay, they will text me. So there's one of my friends where, like, whenever I remember to reach out to her, like, oh, I haven't spoken to this baby in a while, I send her voice notes, and I can send her like 20 voice notes on different days, and then one day she will now call me back like, she's so sorry, she's been busy, and we catch up, and it's fine. So you just keep doing the reaching out. But if you get to the point where I feel like, okay, there's absolutely no response here, it's not working anymore, this person is not putting in any effort whatsoever, not even like saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I missed your call or your text or whatever, then you can question it and be like, okay, maybe we take a step back and we leave things be for now. But yeah, I hope my ramblings make sense in some way to you. But that the stand-up thing, I think that is just about intentionality, and we put an intentionality to our professional lives that we don't often put to our personal relationships. I also realized the same thing was happening with my sister. Me and my sister are super close, and I just realized that since I moved, like, I don't know much about what's going on in her life anymore. She also doesn't know much about what's going on. And I called her, I'm like, you know what, this has to end. We must talk every day. You must call me every day, and I will call you every day, because I don't like this. So it's the same thing with your friends. You have to, if you really want it, like, create your quote unquote rituals. Like, every Monday we call, every weekend we send each other pictures, like, whatever. You, it is part of adulting now. We're now adults and this is the life that we have now. And we have to just lean into it and embrace the quote unquote professionalism or stand up ishness of it, and just, that's our lives now, basically. Thanks for listening. Bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode of A Couple of Things. If there was anything you found interesting or insightful, or you enjoyed the episode, please do share to someone or multiple people. Like, leave a comment, and definitely do subscribe and all the nice things. Bye. Here is your regular reminder that I am accepting questions and topic suggestions. Also, you can now nominate yourself or someone else to be featured on the podcast to talk about anything that you find interesting. And you can do all of this, whether submitting a question or nominating yourself or someone, through the link in the show notes.